All right, good afternoon. Welcome to Chandu Biology Classes. So, this is a session on General Paper 1. We have started with Indian Polity. All right. So, in the previous classes, we have done first thing we did is strategy video for Paper 1. Be it for every subject, how you should cover, we have done that. Okay. First of all, one of you please go to that reception and get the marker, this pen. Okay, it's on that printer, I think. Okay. So, next thing is we have started with polity. We started with who framed the constitution. Okay, we started with Constituent Assembly, then we learnt sources of the Indian Constitution, then later we did parts and schedules of the Indian Constitution. For parts and schedules, I also told certain tricks to remember. Then what we did preamble of the Indian Constitution. Okay, preamble of the Indian Constitution. Okay, you can see so many government books where we see in the beginning we will have preamble. Okay, you must have read it like, we the people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute India into sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. Okay. So, in the previous class we understood meaning of each of the words. What do you mean by sovereign? What do you mean by socialist, secular, democratic republic? And next we learned objectives of preamble, that is justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. All these things we learned. Okay. Those who have not watched those classes, please watch it whenever you can, as soon as possible. Okay. In case you get doubt, you can get back to me anytime. Coming to this class is highly important. If I say when it comes to Indian polity, any chapter that is highly important means I will say it is fundamental rights. Okay, fundamental rights has the highest weightage when it comes to Indian polity. You take any examination, there cannot be an examination of Indian polity. Okay, any examination having Indian polity, there cannot be an examination question paper without fundamental rights question. Okay, this topic is highly important. Okay, so they can ask the question in any way. So this topic we will take at least, so this topic we have to take at least 2 to 3 sessions. Okay, we cannot finish in one session, we will take 2 to 3 sessions, so that we will learn elaborately each and everything, because each and every concept in this can be a question in the potential question in the examination. Fine. So let us start with fundamental rights, but before that I would like to inform you about the courses that we are offering at our institute, that is Chandu Biology Classes. So first thing is coming to TGPSC PGT exam. Okay, so we are offering for biosciences, that is paper 3, and that is the core paper. Now when it comes to general studies also paper 1, we are completely providing everything that is required, be it India related, polity, history, geography, Telangana related, also reasoning, English, everything will be provided. So for more details you can contact on this number, or you can visit the branch, that is this branch, Narayanguda, Hyderabad. Next, our very important course when it comes to, that is TGPSC JL and DL. You can check our website or you can check the past results. We have done outstandingly well when it comes to TGPSC JL and DL exam, that is 2023 exam. When the results came, majority of our students cleared the exam with top ranks. So that time we were providing only the core paper. Now, based on the demand of the students, we have also started general studies paper, because it is also having one of the highest weightage, that is 150 marks. Okay. So that's why we are providing this also, so that you can gain an edge over others, so that you cover this very easily, because what we do in class, that is more than enough. What the notes we provide, that will also be enough. We will be providing you with the general studies book also, but what the notes we do in the class, that is more than enough for you, and we will be giving the tests also. Okay, coming to general studies. Fine. Now this is about JL DL, and here also the batch is starting on 1st August. Here also the batch is starting on 1st August. Please remember this date. New batch is starting on 1st August, and for more details contact on the same number. Fine. So let us start with our discussion on fundamental rights. So first of all, when you hear fundamental rights, what comes to your mind? Huh? I want answers. When we talk about fundamental rights, right to live, that is good. That is a very important fundamental rights. Huh? Right to life. Right to live, right to life, same. Right to education. You are telling what are the fundamental rights. I want to know what exactly you mean by fundamental rights. You are telling the list of fundamental rights. I want to know what is the meaning of fundamental rights. Right to live. See, right to live is, see, whatever is coming, please speak up. Okay, don't keep it with you. Okay, right to live, you told that is a very important fundamental right. That is fine. I am asking you, suppose if I ask, talk about endocrine system, there are so many concepts that are there. I am asking what is endocrine system, what is endocrine gland, I am asking the meaning. Same way I am asking the meaning of fundamental rights. Okay, why it is called fundamental?
Basic needs. Which are required.
Yes ma'am, correct. Because they are very basic. Okay, they are basic needs, because these fundamental rights are the one which provides us basic needs. Without this, even we cannot get the basic needs. If we don't have the basic needs, how we can survive? Okay, these fundamental rights, these rights are, suppose I talk about human rights, and the human rights, the core of the human rights is these fundamental rights. Remaining all are secondary for us. Okay, these fundamental rights, without that our existence will be in danger. Suppose like most of you told, right to live. When you don't have right to live, what can you do about anything? See, when you don't know whether you will be living tomorrow or today, when it comes to actual setting. Okay, so that time what will you think about career? There is no point in thinking about career, right? When there is no fundamental rights at all, there is no right to live. Okay, so first of all you have to understand fundamental rights. So, fundamental rights are those rights which are very, very essential for the existence of any individual. Correct? No? If I talk about, for us oxygen is very important to live. Same way these fundamental rights are very important to live a dignified life. Okay? To live a dignified life. Okay? Be it you are rich, be it you are poor, doesn't matter. To live a dignified life, these fundamental rights are very important. That's why these rights are called what? Fundamental. Fundamental means they are of highest regard. Okay, so that is the meaning of it. Now, carrying on from here. So we are having various rights. So see, first of all, we learnt there are various parts. You can switch it off if you don't want. Okay, there are various parts of the Indian Constitution. We learnt in the original Constitution there was 22 parts. As of now, we are having 25 parts. Okay, so total we learnt 22 parts. So first of all, first part we said that is India, that is Bharat, that is list of states and its union territories, that is union and its territories. That is the same thing. See here, India, that is Bharat, that is this is having what? It is having each and every state. Okay, and we are not covering only this much, we are covering entire thing, because see here the coastal areas, this is also ours, this Andaman, Nicobar, everything that also belongs to us. Okay, and so much coastal area also belongs to us. Okay, that sea area up to 200 nautical miles belongs to us. After this what we have is international waters, that doesn't belong to us. Okay, so here if you see Sri Lanka is there. Okay, up to some point we can go for fishing. After that if you go they will catch us. We must have seen so many issues. Okay, Tamil Nadu fishermen getting caught because they are crossing this, or simply they are giving that reason and catching. That Sri Lankan Navy, all these things. Okay, so that is the meaning of our territory, is our jurisdiction. Okay, suppose my jurisdiction is what? This class. Same way this complete jurisdiction is ours. This is part 1 I have told you. Second one is, it is talking about what? Part citizenship. Part 2 is talking about citizenship. So we have a land area, we have a jurisdiction, in that we have citizens. Okay, for those citizens we need to provide fundamental rights. Correct? No, we need to provide rights. So that's why the part 3 is having fundamental rights. Okay, you must have seen, as if you observe the history, you might know most of it or some of it, at least you can recollect. We were enslaved or we were colonized by so many foreign invasions. Okay, be it us, be it Africans. Okay, we were under slavery, we were under colonial rule. Okay, we don't know the significance of these rights, because our ancestors or our freedom fighters, they fought a lot to get these rights. Okay, so we are enjoying these rights. If these rights were not there, it would have been very difficult for us. Okay, so this is the thing you have to understand. PSP Power Star Paul Kalana. Okay, Mallesh, be Power Star. Nice. Okay, fine. Hi. So fundamental rights. Okay, fundamental rights are important if you want to become Power Star also. Correct? No. If you don't have fundamental rights, what you can do? Correct? No. So first of all, this belongs to what? This belongs to part 3 of the Indian Constitution. So first thing is, in the Constitution there are 22 to 25 parts. As of now we are having 25 parts. This belongs to which part? Part 3. So please remember this. This belongs to part 3. There can be a question in the examination. If they ask which part, it is part 3. Now in part 3 fundamental rights, these fundamental rights are also called Magna Carta of the Indian Constitution. Okay, the Magna Carta of the Indian Constitution. What is this Magna Carta? Magna Carta means, first of all, you have to understand how a country should be governed. A set of rules and regulations were written down, okay, and that book was called, that document was called Magna Carta. This was done by a king called John. Okay, he is from, not King Kong, I am telling, king called John. Okay, he is from England, he is an English king. So the document was named as Magna Carta. That's why these fundamental rights, we are also calling it as Magna Carta of what? Indian Constitution. When did he do it? It is in 1215. This is not required for us. I want to tell the meaning of Magna Carta. If they ask in the examination, which of the following is the Magna Carta of the Indian Constitution? It is fundamental rights. Okay. If they ask which of the following is the Magna Carta of the Indian Constitution, it is fundamental rights. Remember this. Okay. This is what? Magna Carta. And next, while talking about sources of the Indian Constitution, I told you one thing. Fundamental rights are borrowed from where? Which constitution? Fundamental rights are borrowed from which constitution? Which country? Huh? Tell me. USA. Good. Bill of Rights. So fundamental rights are borrowed from US Constitution, that is American Constitution. There they were calling it as Bill of Rights. I told you. I gave the example of food bill. Okay. So I am telling you, you have to remember. I give you example so that you remember. Okay. There it is called as what? Bill of Rights. Here we took the same thing, but we modified as per our need, because American society is completely different from this, because there more it is Christianity. But here we are having diverse religions, diverse people, be it tribes, okay, be it scheduled areas, be it coastal areas, be it northeastern regions. Okay. So as per our needs, we modified the fundamental rights. There it was called Bill of Rights. Here we call it as fundamental rights. So as you can see, these fundamental rights, okay, they are very important, because you cannot discriminate anyone based on caste, okay, based on race, okay, based on religion, based on gender or place of birth. They cannot say that you are born in that state, in this state we will not give you employment. They cannot say. Okay. But certain what restrictions are also there, certain exemptions are also there. For example, if I write TGPSC exam, okay, first of all I cannot apply because I don't belong to this state. Okay. I don't know, I have not studied Telugu. Okay. First of all, that is a requirement. Correct? No. So that is an exception. So they can say I cannot apply for this exam. So such kind of reasonable restrictions are there. Restrictions are there. What restrictions? They are not like simply they are putting restriction. Some reason is there, valid reason is there. Why? Because first our state people, that is this state people should get job. Then after that for outsiders. Correct? No. When it comes to state government exam. But when it comes to all India exams like SSC, banking, UPSC, there is no such requirement that you have to belong to this state, nothing like that. First of all, you should be a citizen of India, that's it. First of all, you have to understand that these fundamental rights, although I am talking about citizens, some of the fundamental rights are also available for foreigners also. See, understand one thing. Suppose a foreigner comes and stays in India. At that time, suppose a person from USA comes and visits in India. Okay. That time, for that person, okay, the constitution of USA won't be applicable. He has to follow the law of the land. Law of the land means he is in the land of India. That time, what is supreme for us? Our constitution. Our constitution of India will be applicable on that person. Okay, every law will be applicable on that person. But it doesn't mean that all the fundamental rights you can enjoy. No. Some of the basic fundamental rights, like right to live. Right to live is available even for foreigners. Okay, just because he is a foreigner, we cannot kill them. Okay, unless he doesn't have a valid reason to come here without any proper documents. If he comes, you cannot kill them, you can detain them. That is, you can arrest them. Okay, recently in Karnataka, okay, Russian woman was staying in a cave with 2 kids. Okay, she cannot stay like that. She should have proper documents. You cannot stay over certain period of time. Okay, although you are not doing any harm, there should be proper documentation. But you cannot kill them. They have right to live. That fundamental right is there. Certain fundamental rights are there for even for foreigners, not just for citizens. But they cannot come and tell, I will also write TGPSC. Foreigners. No, we will not allow. For some other state person only we won't allow. How can you allow for a foreigner? Okay, like that is Article 15, 16, they are not applicable for foreigners. Okay, but Article 14 is applicable. I will tell you which are the rights that are not applicable. I will tell you, don't worry. Okay, 15, 16, 19, 29, they are like that. Okay, I will tell you. You can make a note of it later, don't worry. Everything is here in the document. I will give you. I have been telling I will give you, but I have not provided. Today everything will be sent to you, don't worry. Please keep revising. Okay, so let us proceed further. So fundamental rights are important because it should not be distinguished based on those social location. Social location means what? Social location means, see, this is my geographical location. Social location means my race, my caste, my religion, gender, place of birth. That is the meaning of social location. Okay, so fundamental rights, certain fundamental rights. Okay, I told you suspension of fundamental rights during national emergency. Which constitution? During national emergency, I told you certain fundamental rights, except certain fundamental rights, every other fundamental right can be what? Restricted. Suspension of fundamental rights during national emergency. I am telling suspension of fundamental rights during national emergency is borrowed from which constitution? Of course, it is there in Indian constitution, but we borrowed from which constitution? Okay. It is not England. It is not USA also. You go through it again and comment in the video. That's all. After the class is done. Not to me. Okay. So, my question is suspension of national emergency, suspension of fundamental rights during national emergency is borrowed from which constitution? Suspension of, I don't want answer now, I am telling. You have to comment. Suspension of fundamental rights during national emergency. I want all of you to comment the answer after the class is done. You go through it. Wherever you want, you search, you will get the answer. I don't know. Okay. I will not tell the answer now. Okay. I am telling you, no, don't tell the answer now. You comment, that's it. Now, coming to national emergency, see, there are articles 12 to 35 talking about fundamental rights. Okay. Fundamental rights, I told you, for each part there are articles. Please listen. For each part there are articles. When it comes to fundamental rights, it is Article 12 to 35. Article 12 to 35. Okay. So, when it comes to Article 12 to 35, everything will be suspended during national emergency, but certain articles can never be suspended even during national emergency, that is Article 20 and Article 21. Article 21 is, like all of you told, it is right to life. Okay. Even during national emergency is imposed. Why? So that emergency situation can be handled and people's life can be saved. That time you cannot go and shoot anyone. Okay. Normal citizens. That is why Article 21 can never be suspended even during national emergency. Article 20 is talking about arrest. Okay. You people will get confused between Article 20 and 22. Article 20 is talking about arrest. Article 22 is talking about conviction. Conviction means after the arrest, what you are doing in the court. That is different. Okay. Article 20 is talking about what? It is talking about arrest. Okay. At that time you cannot come. Some people, police cannot come and take you and go just like they want. There should be valid reason. They should tell the reason for your arrest. Okay. In most of the cases, they should tell the reason for your arrest. Okay. So, Article 20 and 21 can never be suspended during any emergency, national emergency. Please remember this. So, first of all, what did I tell? Fundamental rights are what? Part 3 of the Indian Constitution. It is from Article 12 to 35. It is available only for citizens? No. It is available even for foreigners. So, these are the points we discussed. Next, what did I tell? Suspension of fundamental rights during national emergency will happen. Okay. This is borrowed from which constitution? You have to comment. Okay. Okay. I told you have to comment because you didn't answer me that time. That means you are not revising. Fine. Not a problem. So, I told you during national emergency all the fundamental rights will be suspended, but Article 20 and 21 will never be suspended. But there is some instance that even Article 19 cannot be suspended if national emergency is based on internal aggression. I will tell you when I discuss Article 19, that time you will understand why it will not be suspended. But as of now, in general, 20 and 21 will never be suspended. Okay, is it the pace is okay? Am I going fast? I should slow down? Okay, okay. So when it comes to national emergency, 20 and 21 will never be suspended. So please keep this in mind. Got it? So next thing is part 3. Like I told you, please focus. Okay, please focus. Part 3, article 12 to 35. Okay, in the beginning of the constitution. Whenever I say beginning of the constitution means what? What is the date?
19.
No. January 26, 1950. Whenever I say beginning of the constitution, it is commencement of the constitution. That is on the first Republic Day.
November 26.
That is when that is not the commencement. Adopted. Okay. Whenever I say commencement or the beginning of the constitution, it is our first Republic Day. First Republic Day was when? 26 January 1950. Okay. Constitution Day is when? When is the Constitution Day celebrated? November 26. November 26 is Constitution Day. It is not Republic Day. January 26 is Republic Day. Please keep this in mind. Next, coming to this one, see here, article 12 to 35. Okay, article 12 to 35, it is talking about part 3, it is talking about fundamental rights. Okay, in the beginning of the constitution, we had 7 fundamental rights. Okay, so which are those rights? So broadly, they are categorized into 7 rights. One is right to equality. Okay, right to equality, article 14 to 18. Next, right to freedom. This is article 9 to, sorry, this is something there is wrong here. Okay, oh, this is correct. Right to freedom 19 to 22. Okay, next is right against exploitation. That is, whenever exploitation is happening, you have the right to be protected. Okay, what are those exploitation? I will tell you when we come here. So next is right against exploitation. Next thing what we have, right to freedom of religion. Okay, while talking about secularism in preamble, I told you when I come to fundamental rights, I will tell you about freedom of religion. So this is about what? Right to freedom of religion. Next thing what we have is cultural and educational rights. Cultural and educational rights of these talking about minorities. For example, be it Buddhists, be it Muslims, be it Christians, they can have their own educational institution. You can see there are lot of madrasas being run, lot of Christian missionaries being run. They have every right to do that. Okay, they have every right to do that because this is a fundamental right under cultural and educational rights. Okay, got it. Next thing what we have is right to constitutional remedies. Right to constitutional remedies. That is, remedy means what? Remedy means what? What is the meaning? Remedy means solution. Good. To solve something. Suppose there is any problem, to solve that we have a remedy. Okay, you can see remedy for skin care, remedy for liver function, remedy for health care, something like that we see. Correct? No? So similarly, right to constitutional remedies. If any of these rights are violated, so that means if your fundamental rights is violated, that is, if your fundamental rights, if you are not able to enjoy that fundamental right. Suppose someone is coming and imposing their will on you, they are coming and putting pressure on you to do the work which you don't like. Okay, that person, it can be a government. Okay, that time you need some solution. That solution, what kind of solution you want, that is provided under right to constitutional remedies. This is a very important right. This right was given very much importance by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Okay, I will tell you when I talk about right to constitutional remedies, he calls this right as the heart and soul of the Indian Constitution. Okay, if they ask which of the following is the heart and soul of the Indian Constitution, it is right to constitutional remedies. What is the Magna Carta of the Indian Constitution? Fundamental rights. Okay, which articles are not suspended during national emergency? 20 and 21. Okay, 20, 21. Okay, right to constitutional remedies is called heart and soul of the Indian Constitution. Next, this here, this is right to property. Okay, see here, right to property is provided under Article 31. Okay, but this 44th Amendment of 1978. I told you, amendment means what? We will add something, we will remove something or modify something. Okay, this article, sorry, this amendment, 44th Amendment, removed this right to property as the fundamental right. Clear? So now how many rights we have? We have 6 fundamental rights. Okay, so if they ask how many fundamental rights as of now? 6. Okay, we are having 6 fundamental rights. In the original constitution, there were 7 fundamental rights. Clear? So as of now we are having 6. In the original constitution we had how many? 7. So clear? Okay, now what we have to do is we have to go through each of it. Okay, but you can see here, I told you article 14 to 32 I told you, correct? No. But what about article? I told you article 12 to 35. Here I didn't cover article 12 and 13, correct? No. Here article 12 and 13 is not covered. So what I should do? We should cover that separately. You should understand what is article 12. You should understand what is article 13. Okay. So let us see that now. What is article 12? What is article 13? Clear? Can you get fee details? Sir, I want to prepare for. So just a minute. So you can contact on this number. I'll share this number. Pravina, you can contact on this number. Or you drop your number, we'll get back to you. Fine? Okay, all right. Now, when it comes to this one, I was talking about article 12, very important. Article 13 also very important. Next, that is we will talk about, see, part 3 is having articles from 12 to 35. Okay, I have done this, I used a lot of tools to make these things because this fundamental rights chapter is very important. So that you remember. One more thing, current affairs news I want to tell is, next in the upcoming classes we will be talking about president also, vice president also. While talking about the sources of the Indian Constitution, I told you that vice president acting as the chairman of the upper house is borrowed from where? US Constitution, correct? No, upper house means Rajya Sabha. For Rajya Sabha, any person, not speaker, any person who becomes the vice president, he will become automatically the chairman of the, not speaker, speaker is only for Lok Sabha. Okay, just listen, he will become the chairman of the Rajya Sabha. When I talk about Rajya Sabha, it is the chairman. Any person who becomes the vice president, he will automatically become the chairman. Now, why I am talking about vice president means, that is Jagdeep Dhankar, our vice president, he has resigned. Okay, why he has resigned? Because giving some medical reason. Okay, giving some medical reason, he has resigned. Now, the post of vice president it becomes open, vacant. Okay, open to election, also open to, it is become vacant. Okay, once the position of vice president becomes vacant, the position of chairman also becomes vacant, because the person, new person who becomes the vice president, he will automatically become what? Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. This is the meaning of ex officio. This is the meaning of what? Ex officio. Suppose, understand, suppose some of you, okay, I wish all of you clear JL exam, JL DL exam. Suppose a college, in a college they have made a rule that a person who becomes JL botany faculty will also become the principal of that college. Okay, automatically that person will become the principal of that college. That means what? That person is ex officio principal. Okay, it may be you or it may be her, it may be anyone, doesn't matter. If you clear as JL botany, I am not in favor of botany, I am just giving example. Okay, I like zoology more than botany, whatever. So, JL botany person, okay, clearing that exam and goes to some college A, automatically that person will become what? Principal. Okay, that person will become what? Principal. That is the meaning of what? Ex officio. Because in upcoming classes I will be using ex officio in most of the times, okay, in many places. That time you should not ask me what is ex officio. You can ask, but you should not get confused. Okay, that is automatically you become that. Okay, clear? Now, okay, fine. Now, when it comes to Article 12, okay, Article 12 is, it is talking about state. Okay, it is talking about state. So, see here, Article 12 is talking about state. What do you mean by state is told in Article 12. So, I told you in the polity classes, beginning classes, so many places I use the word state. Okay, state here does not mean a Telangana state or Andhra Pradesh state or Maharashtra or Karnataka or Kerala. State here does not mean a geographical area. State here refers to anything that is representing government. Anything that is representing government. Okay, anything that is representing government, that is a state. So, what does the thing that represents government, that we have to see. So, anything that represents government is called what? State. The meaning of state is given in Article 12 and it is also given in Article 36. Article 36 is not fundamental right. Article 36 is what? Article 36 is DPSP. Very good. So, Article 36 is DPSP and Article 12 is fundamental rights. So, the definition of state is contained in what? It is contained in fundamental rights and DPSP. Suppose they can give a question. The meaning of state or definition of state is given in which of the following? The options can be fundamental rights and fundamental duty, fundamental rights and preamble, fundamental rights and DPSP, another can be DPSP and president. The answer is what? Fundamental rights and DPSP. So the state is contained in, the meaning of state is contained in fundamental rights and DPSP. But one funny thing you have to understand here is, fundamental rights, they have given complete definition of the state. What do you mean by state? DPSP, what they have told is, unless there is any special case, whatever is there in fundamental right, how you say fundamental right, same thing. That is there, it is a copycat, DPSP. Okay, whatever is there in Article 12, same thing is there in Article 36. That is what Article 36 is telling. What you say in Article 12, same thing I will also follow. That is what Article 36 is saying. Now let us understand what is a state. Okay, let us understand what is a state, or you can understand what are all the things that are included in a state. Okay, what are all the things that are included in a state? Suppose you go for eating food. Okay, so we have basic definition or basic categorization that South Indian food or North Indian food, or North Indian thali or South Indian thali, like this we have, correct? No, be it vegetarian, non-vegetarian, whichever you like, you prefer, no problem. If I talk about North Indian thali, in that what are all included? Like that, what is included in state? State, in that what are all included? First thing is central government and parliament. Okay, central government and parliament. Okay, the parliament, this is old parliament building, new parliament building is completely different. Okay, new parliament building is completely different. Whatever, central government and parliament. Next is what? We are having state government and state legislature. You can see this may be little like our secretariat. Okay, our secretariat is little bigger. This may be some other states. Okay, whatever it is. So it contains what? Even state government and state legislature. State legislature means same as parliament at the state level. Okay, same as parliament. Here the secretariat is what? It is nothing but state legislature. In Delhi what we have? That is parliament. Okay. Now state, I told you two things, central government and parliament. Next is state government and state legislature. Next what we have? After talking about central government, then I spoke about state government. Now let us look at local level. Okay. If you talk about urban areas, we have municipal corporations. It's local areas. Here local areas at local level. What is a rural level? In rural level what we have? Panchayats. Okay, panchayats. So municipal corporations and panchayats, they are also states. They are also what? State. Suppose for us GHMC is a state. Correct? No, for us GHMC is a state. Suppose we are in some village. That village panchayat or village sabha, okay, panchayat sabha, grama sabha, whatever it is, they are all state for us. This is also a state. Clear? That is also representing a state. Next, anything that is formed by, these are all what? These are all formed by constitution. Something that is formed by some law of the parliament or law of the government. Okay, everything is not present in the constitution. Most of it is present. Sometimes we make a law and then it becomes a state. For example, we have something called National Human Rights Commission. Okay, National Human Rights Commission. That is also what? Suppose anywhere violence, or if you are humiliating or harassing someone, human rights will come directly. Okay, human rights will come directly. Now that National Human Rights Commission, that is also part of the government. Even Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI, that is also a state. Okay, you can take CBI, that is also a state. You can take NIA, National Investigation Agency, Intelligence Agency, Defense Intelligence Agency, they are also states. So meaning is what? What is the meaning? So you have to understand that anything that represents government is a state. Okay, suppose, okay, I am an officer from GHMC that I have come to visit the institute to inspect the institute. That means at that time even I am a state because I am representing the government, that is GHMC. Understood? Clear? So whenever I say state, you have to understand like this. Don't think about the geographical area, think about government. Even semi-government institutions are also state, or any institution which is funded by the government. Suppose any institution for which the funding is done by the government, that is also a state. Clear? Clear now? Fine. Varalakshmi, yes, it is available, totally available. So please contact on the above number. Okay, please contact on the above number. Please call on this number, or you can drop your number. Our team will connect to you. Okay, fine. So we understood what is Article 12. Next is Article 13. Okay, next is Article 13. Before going to Article 13, so there is something called separation of powers I told you. Okay, while talking about federal scheme is borrowed from Government of India Act 1935. There only we learned something called judiciary. Judiciary is also borrowed from Government of India Act 1935. Next, suppose there are three organs, not suppose, actually there are three organs, that is legislature to make laws, executive to implement that laws. Okay, I gave example of helmets. Okay, in Telangana we have only one helmet that is required to be worn by the person who rides the bike. Suppose we make a law that even the person sitting behind should wear a helmet, that law will be made by the legislature. That implementation will be done by the executive. Executive means you can take police. The police will check that if you are not wearing two helmets, they will catch you and they will fine you. Okay, but if she feels that it is an unnecessary burden on the citizens, that law can be scrapped or that law can be modified by the judiciary. That means what? Judiciary will check the validity of the law. That is called as what? That is, it is what it is doing. It is reviewing the law. Suppose we all of us sit together and make a paper. I mean not paper, any book. Okay. After that, what each of us will do, with our respect to specialization, what we will do? We will try to do the proofreading of that material. Correct? No. That is what we do. We will do the review. Or after any movie, so many YouTubers will come and give review. Correct? No. Same way, when it comes to a law, the review of the law will be done by the courts. The courts are nothing but judiciary. The word is called judicial review. What is that called? Judicial review. What is that meaning? The law will be reviewed. That is, whether the law is correct or not. Is it as per the provisions of the constitution? Is it benefiting only some people, while other people it is not benefiting? Okay, while it is benefiting only the rich people, not the poor people. You will check all these things. That is the meaning of judicial review. So judicial review, you have to understand, it is contained in Article 13. That is, the judiciary can check the laws. Okay, the judiciary can check the laws. Correct? No? So that is the meaning of judicial review. But understand one thing, judicial review is borrowed from which constitution? US constitution. But you have to understand one thing, this, what is this? This judicial review, the word judicial review is nowhere mentioned in the constitution. Okay, instead of saying judicial review, it is saying the meaning of judicial review in Article 13. In Article 13. Nothing in this article shall apply to the any amendment of this constitution made under Article 368. Okay, nothing in this Article 13 shall apply to any amendments of this constitution made under Article 368. Okay, so you have to understand that. So this Article 13 is talking about judicial review. I know this you didn't understand anything about this article. What is written? Nothing in this article shall apply to any amendment of this constitution made under Article 368. Okay, so that means what? That is, any amendment that is made to the constitution, okay, you should make it in such a way that the fundamental rights are not touched. That is, you can touch the fundamental rights, but it should not be in such a way that you violate the fundamental rights. Okay, you make any amendment to the constitution, but don't violate any fundamental rights. Okay, suppose you make any law, any changes in the constitution. That means what? Suppose that change in the constitution, it is against the interests of the minority people. That means what? It is violation of the fundamental rights of the minorities. So such a law, judiciary will come in and it will scrap that law. It will make that law void. Void means vacuum, nothing, zero. Okay, good law ankondi. Void means, that is what you like always. That's why I keep giving example of food. Okay, so that means void means it is nil or null. Law is made like that. So you should not violate the fundamental rights. So that is the meaning of Article 13. That is what it says. It says that judicial review. Okay, you can make modifications in the fundamental rights, but you should not violate. That is the meaning of Article 13. Clear? So judicial review is mentioned under Article 13. I am telling in simple words. No need to by heart it like this. No need. It will not come like this in the examination. Article 13, judicial review. That much you remember. Article 12, state. State means what? Anything that represents government. Article 13, judicial review. That much you remember. Okay, this and all is not required for you. Okay, but this is the same thing, same words that is given in the Indian Constitution, that is not required for you. You don't have to understand what it is. You have to understand Article 13 is talking about what? Judicial review, that's all. But judicial review is not mentioned directly in the constitution, it is mentioned like this. Okay, the meaning of this is nothing but judicial review. So we learned Article 12 and Article 13. Now let us proceed further. Okay, this is something we will come back later. So what did we discuss? So fundamental rights are basic human rights, like you people told, basic needs or basic human rights guaranteed by the Constitution of India to all citizens. To all citizens, but also you should know that it is provided even for the foreigners. Okay, it is available even to the foreigners, but not all fundamental rights. Fundamental rights, all fundamental rights is available to all citizens. But foreigners also it is available, but not all. Some fundamental rights are available. Okay, so it is inspired by American Bill of Rights. That means what? We borrowed it from US Constitution. There it was called as Bill of Rights. Next is Part 3. We understood Article 12 to 35. Okay, enforceable by the Supreme Court and High Courts under Article 32 and Article 26 respectively. That means I told you while talking about DPSP, while talking about preamble, I told you that while giving example of DPSP and preamble, I told you, suppose something is not enforced, something that law is not imposed, that is there in the DPSP or that is there in the preamble, you cannot go to the court. But when it comes to fundamental rights, if any of the fundamental rights, my fundamental rights, if I am not able to enjoy or if I am not able to provide that or if I am not able to use that fundamental right, suppose I want to go to some other state and live, but they don't allow me inside that state. Okay, that is violation of my fundamental right, because Article 19, right to freedom of movement is there. Right to freedom of movement, right to reside in any part of India. I can go and live in any part of India. Okay, but there also some restrictions are there. For example, some northeastern states like Arunachal Pradesh and all, there we have a lot of tribal population and also some other communities. Okay, there they have a very specific culture, sacred culture. To protect that culture, what they have done is, they won't allow anyone to simply go like that. You should have a specific reason. Okay, like research or some other activities, you have to have a specific reason. Then you have to take the permission. That is called inner line permit. Okay, that is called inner line permit. That is, to visit certain parts of India, you need some permission. That is called as what? Inner line permit. Okay, but in general, I have the right to move anywhere in the territory of India. If I am not allowed, okay, suppose I am going in TGPSC bus to Maharashtra, you think. There they stop the bus, then they allow me to throw me away. They say you are not allowed inside Maharashtra. That time that is a violation of my fundamental rights. That time I can go to High Court or to Supreme Court directly. Okay, why? To get my fundamental right to movement. Okay, that is called as what? That is called as constitutional remedy. That is, I got a problem, so I should need a remedy. That is in the constitution. That is called as what? Constitutional remedy. I have a problem that should be solved. To solve, I need a remedy. Where is that remedy? It is in the constitution. That is why you come back here. That is called as what? Constitutional remedies. It is present in what? Article 32. Under Article 32, I can go to Supreme Court, or under Article 226. Article 226 is not a fundamental right. I can go to High Court. Okay. For enforcement of my fundamental right, I can either go to Supreme Court or I can go to High Court. But if I go to Supreme Court, that is under Article 32. This is under Article 226. Article 32 is under Supreme Court, and Article 32, that is right to constitutional remedies, is also called as what? Heart and soul of the Indian Constitution. It was told by whom? That is also important. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Okay. That is, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar called it heart and soul of the Indian Constitution. Clear? So, Article 32 is important. That means what? When I can go to the court, it is called as enforceable, or it is also called as justiciable. Justiciable or justifiable. Justiciable. Justiciable means you can get justice. Okay, justiciable means you can get justice, or enforceable means you can go to the court. But DPSP or preamble, it is not justiciable or it is not enforceable. But fundamental rights, it is enforceable and it is also justiciable. Okay, most important, because they will ask difference based question like this in MCQs. Okay, so most important thing you have to understand, when I talk about enforceable or justiciable, it is only for fundamental rights. For DPSP and preamble, it is not there. Whenever I am talking about fundamental rights, see, in any country, what are the two things that we have? We have common people. Another thing what we have is the government. In the common people, they form some private company or whatever, that is different. So, for the people, we have to give fundamental rights. Okay, that fundamental rights should be protected by these codes. Okay, these codes are called guarantor of the fundamental rights. Okay, but the state is what? That state has to make laws in such a way that these fundamental rights are not misused. Okay, so there is always a war or what, tit for tat, something like that going on between the state and also citizens. Okay, state and also citizens. Okay, but state is not like they want to harm the citizens. For the welfare of citizens, certain times certain fundamental rights will be restricted. Okay, that is why it is called as what? Reasonable restrictions. That is why it is called as what? Reasonable restrictions. Suppose under Article 21, very important judgment you have to remember, other case was there, other case was going on. That case is called K.S. Puttaswamy case. Why? Because that person passed away last year, I think. They can ask a question on that. K.S. Puttaswamy judgment, that was right to privacy was made a fundamental right under Article 21. Under right to life only, Article 21 only, one more thing was added, that is right to privacy. Privacy means what? That is, I should not be harmed, or I should not be, someone should not come and interfere in my normal life. Okay, right, under right to privacy, you can say that, sir, in the institute you are having CCTVs, I want to have my privacy, please don't use CCTV, I should not be watched, you can say. But that is not possible, because this is a public space, correct now? Here the most important thing is for us the safety of every one of you. That's why CCTV is very important, correct? So, safety comes first, then privacy. So, as per the situation, the application of fundamental rights also changes. Got it? The application of fundamental rights also changes. So, here for us right to safety, that is your right to life, is very important for us than your right to privacy. Okay. Of course, in classrooms it is not there, fine. But I am telling, why I am telling is as an example. Okay, you can say that I have right to privacy, that is a fundamental right, you are keeping CCTV, I don't want you to watch, or I can only say right to privacy is a fundamental right, I can tell to sir that I have to be like how I want, why you are keeping CCTV and looking at me, whether I am working or not, that and all you should not do, I have a fundamental right. He will say get out. Why? Because right to safety and the rules and regulations of the institute is more important than one single person's right to privacy. Okay, during institution time. Okay, that is the meaning of what? Reasonable restriction. So, such reasonable restrictions are there for each and every fundamental right. No fundamental right is absolute. You cannot say that I have right to equality and go and say. Okay, suppose you can say that some MCET rank comes. Some people will have reservations. Some people won't have. Okay, you can say right to equality, all should be treated equal. I should also get seat under this. You can go and protest. What they will do? You will not get anything. Okay, you will not get anything. You will put under, taken by the police. Okay, that is not called fundamental right. There are certain reasonable restrictions. Okay, I told you while talking about preamble, I told you I will tell about equity. Equality is different, equity is different. Equity means what? Equity means what? First of all, if you know, you tell. Equity means what? Because I have to tell about equity so that you understand fundamental rights better. Then you will understand justice also better. Okay, I will tell you. No need to worry. Suppose there are three persons A, B, that is equality. That is equality, what you are telling is. Okay, A, B, C, these are three persons. Okay, this is nothing but this bar is showing their protein levels in the body. Okay, but normal functioning, for normal functioning, we need this level of protein level. This level of protein level. But as a government, I will provide 50 grams of protein to each of them. 50 grams of protein to each of them. That is, I will provide 50 grams here. 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 Okay. I have provided equality of resources, that is what I have provided. This is nothing but what? Equality. Equality. Now still because of this, A is getting more protein because already he has something, so he will be more healthier. This person will become little healthier, but not to expected level. This person will become much more healthier. Correct? No. This is nothing but what? Equality. Okay. This is nothing but what? Equality. Suppose this person already touches here, will become normal. Okay. But if I give it in such a way that, see here, now this thing, if I do it in such a way that this person should be given in such a way that he has to reach till here, this person should be given in such a way that he has to reach till here, and this person should be given in such a way that he has to reach till the normal time. That means I am not giving the resources equally, but I am giving the resources in such a way that as per their need. As per their need. That means if such a this person is more backward, I am giving him more reservation. This person is already forward, there is no need of reservation, he will use the educational advantage that he has and he will study. Same with this person. So this is called concept of equity. So equality doesn't always mean justice. It is equity that ensures justice. Understood? This is equity. Okay. You are providing based on their need. You are providing based on their need. Suppose for him half an hour of my class is enough to crack the exam. Okay. But for her I may have to give 2 hours of exam. 2 hours of class. For her I may have to take 5 hours of class. Okay. But instead of that, for everyone if I provide 1 hour, that is nothing but what? Equality. Okay. But it doesn't need half an hour is waste for him because half an hour is only enough. For her another 1 more hour is required. For her another 4 more hours is required. I am just telling example. That is equality. Okay. But for him if I just provide half an hour, for her if I provide 2 hours of class, for her if I dedicate 5 hours of class, that is called as what? Equity. Okay. That 5 hours I am giving, that is nothing but reservation. Okay. The 2 hours I am giving, that is also some kind of reservation, but in less quantity. So this is this equity concept is the basis for reservation. Clear? This equity concept is the basis for reservation. Clear? Understood? So now any fundamental right you will understand very easily, because when I talk about article 14, article 15, okay, 5 hours if not required, 5 minutes also enough. You can keep laughing. Okay. Okay, fine. History of fundamental rights, I told you we have taken it from US Constitution. That's enough. Okay, we have taken it from US Constitution. So this and all I already explained. Just a minute. Is very important. See here, I told you fundamental rights. So you have to know the difference between fundamental rights and other rights, then you will understand the significance of fundamental rights. Correct? No? Suppose you want to know what is a good food and what is a bad food. For that you have to know first what is a bad food. Okay, which most of you eat some in hostel and all. Then you go to home, you will understand what is a good food. Correct? No? Same thing. So when I talk about difference between fundamental rights and other rights are called ordinary rights. These are called fundamental rights. So they are protected and enforced by ordinary law. Okay, they are also protected, but by which law? Just ordinary law. But fundamental rights, it is guaranteed by the Constitution. Okay, it is guaranteed by the Constitution. Constitution is supreme or higher than any other law in the country. Okay, so this is just by ordinary law. For example, if I say National Human Rights Commission, that is by National Human Rights Commission Act. That is a law. That is ordinary law. But when I talk about any constitutional body, suppose if I talk about Scheduled Commission, special provision for SC and ST, or National Commission for SC, or National Commission for backward classes, National Commission for ST, they are all what? Constitutional bodies. Okay, even for backward classes it became a constitutional body recently through amendment. Okay, so they are all what? They are all not just by ordinary law, they are by the Constitution, making amendment in the Constitution they became. Okay, so they are fundamental rights because they are present in the Constitution. These are just by ordinary law. Okay, next things, they may be exchanged by the legislature, they may be changed by the legislature by ordinary process of law making. That is, they are made by ordinary law, so they can be changed by simple, just by ordinary change in the law. But when it comes to this, because it is present in the Constitution, so you have to amend the Constitution, because Something that is present in the book of the constitution means if you have to change it, definitely you have to do some modification in that book itself, no? Otherwise you cannot make it in air. Same thing. So if it is present in the constitution, if it is supported by the constitution, so if you have to change it, you have to change the constitution, not entire constitution, specific to that part. Okay, if you have some liver cirrhosis or fatty liver, you will operate in the liver and get it correct, not on the brain, correct? No. Same way, specific to that part, you have to do modification, that is amending the constitution, that is amending our body, like that. Okay, clear? Understood? Fine. Now let us understand each one of this, very important. Okay, first thing is what? Right to equality. It is contained in article 14 to 18. First, whenever I say right to equality, people think it is just article 14. Okay, right to equality is a bigger concept. Okay, under right to equality, there are how many rights? 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. There are 5 rights. Okay, right to equality is a very important right. Under that we have 5 rights. Each of the rights are very important for us. So article 14 to 18, let us understand now. Okay, what is article 14 talking about? So article 14 is talking about equality before law and equal protection of the law. Equality before law and equal protection of the law. I told you equality before law is borrowed from which constitution? UK. What about equal protection of the law? US. Okay, equality before law is UK and equal protection of the law, it is US. Okay, equality before law is UK, equal protection of the law is US. Okay, equality before law means, suppose I am the law. Okay, I am the law, you think. Okay, in front of me all of you are equal. In front of me all of you are equal. That is the meaning of equality before law. In simple words I am telling. See, this is a broader meaning also. Even this also lot of broader meaning that we don't want. Okay, simple way you have to understand means, if I am the law, for me all of you are equal. Okay, all of you are equal. I should not be treating someone special. I should not be treating someone in a subordinate way or some harsh way. All are equal. Okay, equal protection of the law means, I should be applicable equally to everyone. I should be applicable equally to everyone. Suppose I give 1 chocolate to her, for everyone I should give what? 1 chocolate itself, not for someone giving 5 chips packet. Okay, I should give 1 chocolate itself. So that is the meaning of what? I should be applicable in an equal way. That is the meaning of what? Equal protection of the law. That is the meaning of what? Equal protection of the law. So equal protection of the law, there is one famous saying. Okay, equal should be treated equally and unequal should be treated unequally. Okay, equal should be treated equally and unequal should be treated unequally. This was told by Aristotle. Equal should be treated equally, unequal should be treated unequally. That means what? Equal should be treated unequally means this is nothing but it is talking about equity. This is talking about what? Equity. That is unequals. That means what? People who are up and down, people who are above the social ladder here, that means they for them give little help. People who are lower, for them provide more help. That is the meaning of what? Unequals should be treated unequally. That is also called positive affirmation. Okay, understand one thing, reservation is based on equity. This reservation, instead of this word reservation, they use a word, that is, this is what we are doing. Actually we are doing discrimination, right? I am telling I will give only half an hour class to him. I am telling Ferrer take 2 hours class. Ferrer I am telling 5 hours class. If someone who doesn't know politics, someone comes and sits now, I am telling in front of that person, for him I will take half an hour class, Ferrer 2 hours, Ferrer 5 hours. That person will think what he is telling, he is doing discrimination. Of course, that is discrimination only, but that discrimination is called as what? Positive discrimination. That is completely allowed in our constitution. Okay, positive discrimination is completely allowed in our constitution. That is also called as what? Affirmative action. The word affirmative means it's a affirmative sentence means you would have learned in English. Affirmative means it's something positive. Okay, so affirmative action, that is an action taken to develop someone, to bring them up in the society. So this reservation is also called positive discrimination, or it is also called, very important word, affirmative action. Positive discrimination, or is also called affirmative action. Okay, affirmative action. Now, each of this article you will understand better, because I told you what is positive discrimination, understood now. I am doing discrimination so that as per their needs I am able to provide my service of my class, so that each one of you crack the exam. Got it? Now, so first is what? Equality before law and equal protection of the law. Next we are talking about social justice. I told you social justice means what? I told you while talking about preamble, justice, social, economic and political. Article 15 is talking about social justice. So what does here it represents? That is prohibition of discrimination on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth. Each one of this is very important. Okay, in certain examinations they have asked these grounds. Which of the following is not a ground for a discrimination? Okay, on which of the following you can discriminate? That means what? Prohibition of discrimination on grounds, actually there should be one word, on grounds only of. Okay, on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth you should not discriminate. That means in other grounds you can discriminate. Okay, see here, prohibition of discrimination on grounds only of religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth. That means there should be no discrimination between people on the basis of religion, after religion caste, sex, place of birth and race. Okay, two R's will come, religion and race, caste, sex or place of birth. Okay, the word that is mentioned is sex, not gender. So please remember, okay, it is not gender. Okay, and it is place of birth. It is what? Place of birth. You have to understand there is a difference between sex and also gender. Okay, socially we call it as gender, here biologically they are telling. Okay, whether male or female, you should not discriminate. Clear? So prohibition of discrimination on the grounds only of, that is discrimination should be stopped or it should be prohibited on the grounds only of religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 you have to remember. Allows for affirmative action, that is reservation for SC, ST, OBC or women. That is for special category of people, that is like women, children, elderly or SC, ST or OBC. Even for OBC there is quota. Okay, whenever I talk about OBC, one commission you have to remember, that is Mandal Commission. Mandal Commission. So please remember, they can ask an exam in the examination, which of the following commission is related to OBC's reservation? It is Mandal Commission. Or they can ask, the Mandal Commission is related to what? It is related to OBC. Whenever I give the test, I will cover all this, but I would have told in the class. So please remember, such things you make a note. Other than that, all these things don't write down, because anyways I will give this to you. Correct? No? So don't write this down. Okay, everything you don't write down. Whatever I write, whatever I mark it, that things you write. Okay, so provides for affirmative action. That means what? There is equity. Okay, but there should be no discrimination, but there is equity. That means on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth, you can provide affirmative action. For example, on the basis of caste, we are providing reservations. For example, we have BCD, BCA, all these things. When you write MCET or whatever exams, you have all these things. Correct? No? Other thing is called OC. All these things are there. Now, when it comes to Article 16, it is talking about employment. Okay, equality of opportunity in public employment. Remember the word, in public employment. Equality of opportunity in public employment. Suppose if you are eligible to apply for that job, okay, you cannot be discriminated. Okay, once you clear the exam or whatever, based on your caste or something, they cannot say you are not allowed in public employment. In private employment, you cannot come and say, it is anyways private. Okay, you cannot come and say definitely you have to take me. You cannot say. Okay, you cannot say that. I have a fundamental right, you cannot take. You cannot come and say. Of course, there are other fundamental rights that are applicable even in private places. Like I told about right to privacy, I told about right to life, that is everywhere applicable. But equality of opportunity in public employment, here also equality I am telling, but there is equity also. Here also there is some reservation. For example, public employment, if you talk about SSC, Staff Selection Commission exam, TGPSC exam, these exams you are not writing for what? Suppose you are writing MCET, EAP set, which is called now, or JEE exam or whatever, that you are writing for what? To enter into some college, that is for your education. But this TGPSC JL DL you are writing for what? Employment. Okay, but here also it is not like equality, there is equity. There is reservation that is provided for BC, SC, ST, women, like this. Okay, like this we have. For example, if you take about certain APPSC, TGPSC or KPSC exams, certain exams, there is reservation, special reservation for women also. Okay, women also. Also you have reservation for rural areas. Correct? No, if you have studied so many years in rural areas, that reservation will also be there. So this is when it comes to public employment. Clear? Although there is equality, there is equity. Affirmative action is there even here also. Next, Article 17 is very important. Okay, Article 17 is abolition of untouchability, punishable under law. That is abolition of untouchability. Okay, suppose untouchability means that time they were Dalits. You know they are there. Okay, that time they were faced lot of harassment, lot of humiliation. They were not allowed to enter into schools. They were not given access to education. They were not given access to temples. They were made to stay outside the villages. If you watch Ambedkar's serial is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar serial is also coming. If you watch, you can see. Okay, in his early childhood life, how he faced all these things. There it is clearly shown. Okay, so abolition of untouchability. Abolition of untouchability. Actually, this was not made a law under Article 17. This was just provided that under Article 17, untouchability should be prohibited. For that, Parliament should make a law, they said. So for this, to ensure this, what Parliament did this? The Parliament passed an act. The Parliament passed an act in 1955 that is called Civil Rights Act. Civil rights means all our civilians have the right, correct right to access anything that they want in public places. Okay, you cannot say to temple, go to temple and say you are a Dalit, you should not enter. You cannot say. Now you can be filed, FIR can be filed against you. Okay, that is one thing you have to remember. So when it comes to untouchability, to enforce this law, Parliament passed an act that is called Civil Rights Act 1955. So Article 14 is equality before law, equal protection of the law. Article 15 is talking about discrimination on 5 grounds, that is religion, race, caste, sex and place of birth. 16 is talking about public employment. Okay, 17 is talking about untouchability. And Article 18 is talking about abolition of titles. Abolition of titles. Titles means we keep titles like Raja is Raja, Raja Raja Cholan, something like that. Okay, you would have seen Ponniyin Selvan movie, Ponniyin Selvan 1, Ponniyin Selvan 2 in Tamil. Okay, Raja Raja Cholan, so many things like that. Okay, or Brahmanandam also used to keep like Gachibowli Divakar, something like that. Correct? No? So that's like that you cannot keep whatever names you want. Okay, that is not allowed. In your academic writings or whatever, you cannot keep like that. Academic writing in the sense, in whatever books you write, something like that, you cannot keep like I am Raja Raja this thing. I cannot say like that. Only academic titles and military titles are allowed. For example, if you have done PhD, then doctor. For example, you have done medicine, that is doctor is different. Suppose Dr. Chandrasekhar Sir we call it because he has done PhD from Indian Institute of Science. Okay, he has eligibility to use that. Okay, we can't use that, we have not done PhD yet. Correct? No? After doing, you can use that. Correct? Same way, when it comes to military, they call it as colonel, major, all these things. Okay, all these things they can use. Even after retirement, we call them like that. Colonel, Dhyanchan, something like that, major, something like that we use. Military titles. Okay, so that is completely allowed. Okay, that is completely allowed. Now, we say power star, Pawan Kalyan, all these things. That can be used, generally they use. But in whenever they go, wherever official documents, they cannot use. Pawan Kalyan is the deputy CM. There he will sign as Pawan Kalyan. He will not sign as power star and all, he will not use. He cannot use also in official documents. Understood? So that is the meaning of abolition of titles. Clear? So Article 18, that is also talking about equality. Just because you are something, you cannot use those words. Okay. So Indira Sawhney versus Union of India. Okay. Upheld reservation but restricted. Okay. Upheld reservation but restricted. What is there here? Okay. So there was an Indira Sawhney case. Indira Sawhney is a person, okay, versus Union of India in 1992. There a case took place. Okay. Under this, she went to this thing saying that there should be no reservation, something like that. But the Supreme Court said that there should be reservations. That is simple thing you have to understand. So wherever I am talking Article 14 to 18, I am talking about affirmative actions. Correct? affirmative actions is there. Even when I talk about abolition of titles, certain titles you cannot abolish, that is military titles, even academic titles. So everywhere there are certain exceptions, that is called little, you can call it as positive affirmation or also affirmative action or positive discrimination, or you can say reservation. So this person goes to Supreme Court and says there should not be reservation or whatever, you think like that. Just you don't need to know the case, but you should know the name of the case. So it is related to what? Indira Sawhney versus Union of India. It said that Supreme Court said that reservation should be there, and even now we have. Okay, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, what did he say? The reservation should be there from the commencement of the constitution up to 10 years. That means up to 1960. But still there was backwardness, there was no development of the large section of the people. So we continued with that. Okay, we continued with the reservations. So this is about Article 14 to 18. Okay, this is Article 14 to 18. This is right to equality. This is right to equality. Now let us go to the next right, that is right to freedom. Under that we will learn one of the very important article, right to, that is Article 19 we will learn. Now right to freedom of expression, all these things we will learn. Okay, so we will talk about Article 19. That time some person will smile, that time I should say don't smile. That time the person will say I have right to freedom of expression. But there also there are reasonable restrictions. Okay, reasonable restrictions. So when we talk about right to freedom, okay, it is talking about Article 19 to 22. Article 19 to 22, it is talking about right to freedom. In that Article 19 is highly important. Article 19 is very important. It is talking about protection of 6 fundamental freedoms or fundamental rights. 6 fundamental freedoms. What are those freedom? Freedom of speech and expression. For example, freedom of speech and expression, then assembly, then association, movement and residence and occupation. Okay, how to remember this? I'll tell you. Freedom of speech and expression. Okay, so freedom of speech and expression, I will come and tell you people. Okay, so let us move from this place. We are all friends. Okay, let us all leave from this place. Let us move to some other place. So I will tell you something. Freedom of speech and expression I have. I express something. Then how I will tell? First I will telling WhatsApp or I will message you. Then I will ask you to come to some place. Before going to a trip or anywhere, I will will make a WhatsApp group or whatever. I will inform you. That is right to freedom of speech and expression. After that we will come to some common place before going for a trip. Okay, then we will assemble. That is the meaning of we will come. Okay, then before going we form an association. We form an association, like simply we don't go. Suppose you go in school trips and all, you can see the banner, the school names, all these things. Suppose we are having some objective. Suppose we belong to certain section of the society, we need something to be achieved. Okay, so we form an association. That association we call that WhatsApp group name only, we will give to that association. CBC friends group, something like that we will do. That is nothing but what? Association. After association is formed, what you will do? You have to move. We have to move to that place. That is called movement. So first what I will do? I will inform you. To inform you I need what? Freedom of speech and expression. After informing you, what you will do? We all come and assemble. After assembling, she will say, sir, let us give some name to our group. For that group we give one name, that is called as what? Association. After association is formed, next thing is what? We move. Be it in rail or bus, wherever we will go. Next thing, after movement, after going to some place, we cannot simply keep moving, no. We have to reside at that place. Okay, we have the right to reside. Suppose we go to near to, this is Odisha is there, correct? No, north of us, we will go to Odisha. Okay, suppose we go to Odisha, that is Orissa, whatever it is. There, simply we cannot keep moving, no, some place we will reside. At some place we will reside. Okay, next, apart from going, this is an educational trip also you think. Okay, from Chandu Biology Classes, that is, we are doing some marketing also. We are doing some marketing also. That means what? We will give some pamphlets or we will do some seminar in that place to gather students for our institute. That is nothing but what? That is nothing but occupation. That is nothing but what? Occupation. Or if we settle there only, we can do any work. They cannot say that only our state person should sell this, you should not sell. They cannot say. Like that means in Telangana, so many other state people are also there. We should not allow them. Okay. For example, to this is, you could have watched this movie. Cameraman Gangavata Rambabu. You could have watched. In that movie, Prakash Raj will say, only Telugu people should be there. Other people should move. That time what he will do? While going to the police station, Pawan Kalyan will say, will ask him to say national anthem. Correct? No? that time he will say you are not eligible to say the national anthem. Okay, because you are telling only Telugu people should be prospering, others should not prosper. Okay, so that is the meaning of, that is nothing but Article 19 is talking about. That means you have the freedom of speech and expression also, and then we assemble, we form association, then we move, then we reside at that place. Okay, then we move, reside at that place. Some people want food immediately after moving. So we reside at that place, we will eat, and then we will do our work. We have gone for our work, that is occupation. Got it? So this is the meaning of protection of 6 fundamental rights. Protection of 6 fundamental rights. Clear? You have to remember in this way only. Okay, you have to remember in this way only. So reasonable restrictions permitted in public interest. That is, this also it is not absolute. You cannot say we will go anytime we want. There is public interest. In public interest, this can also be restricted. This can also be restricted. Suppose COVID time was there, 2020, 2021, first wave, second wave was severe at that time. Okay, lockdown was there. That time you cannot say we will assemble and we will move. That time if you say that I have the right to assemble, I have the right to move and all, police will also make you move inside the police station. They will make you dance inside the police station. If you say that I have the right to move, I have the right to association, that is in public interest. Why they are telling? For our good also, for the good of other people also, because the infection should not spread. Or we should not spread. The most important thing is we should not get COVID. Another thing is after getting, don't spread it to others. That is the best thing we can do. Instead of helping others, first you help yourself. Correct? No? So public interest means, you can take example of COVID. At that time you cannot use this. Speech and expression is totally fine if you are doing it online. But if you are coming out and making rallies, making people, gathering people and telling speech and expression, that something, gathering people, all these things in public, that is not allowed at that COVID time, because that time there was lockdown. Correct? No? So that time you cannot assemble, association you cannot form, you cannot move, residence you cannot go somewhere, you please stay in your home. Then occupation, whatever occupations which are allowed at that time, that you can do. Okay, so that is the meaning of public interest. This can also be restricted under certain reasons. For example, I told the example of COVID, that is a public interest. Okay, that was a pandemic. Clear? So this is about Article 19. This is about what? Article 19. Now let us learn one more article. I told you Article 20 and 21 are not suspended. Okay, now let us learn what is Article 20. Very, very important article. So protection in respect of conviction for offences. Okay, I told you wrongly, Article 22 is talking about arrest. Okay, Article 20 is talking about conviction. Okay, so conviction for offences. So protection in respect of, that time when I told you Article 20, I told 22. That is not 22. What I told, that was actually 22. This is 20. Okay, so conviction is 20. So remember this. So protection in respect of conviction of for offences. Okay, no ex post facto legislation, double jeopardy, no self incrimination. Okay, so these words look very difficult, I know. So first of all, to understand this conviction, first of all, what will happen? Suppose we have done some act or something like that. First you will be arrested. Correct? No? First you will be arrested. Okay, that time you are called as what? Just accused. Suppose police come and arrest me, at that time I am called just accused. Still it is not proved. After my accusation, or on which grounds I am arrested, if that is proved in the court, proved in court, I am called a convict. Convict, that means I should undergo conviction. Convict means I have committed that crime. Okay, I should undergo conviction. But to undergo conviction, that means I should be punished by the law. I should undergo that punishment. Conviction means I should undergo that punishment. To undergo that punishment, there are certain rules that should be followed. Okay, what is the punishment that should be given to me? Okay, for that there should be a particular law. Okay, that law, for example, suppose I have done drunken driving, you think, or I have done over speeding, you think, something like that. I am arrested. Okay, for me, for example, the date is today's date is what? 22nd July. Okay, okay. Let me write previous date. Why to take risk? It may happen also, no? So let me take 21st July was the date. I have done this crime. I am arrested. Okay, the law that was there on 21st July, that law should be applicable to me. Not the law no ex post facto legislation. Okay, no ex post facto legislation means suppose, okay, ex post facto legislation. Suppose as per this the crime I am punished for 3 years, you think. So production in respect of conviction for offences. First thing what I am explaining is no ex post facto legislation. No ex post facto law means suppose I am arrested in 21st July. The law that was there was that was set in 2015. Okay, road safety law that was made 2015. As per this law, I should get a punishment of 3 years in jail. Okay, 3 years in jail. Suppose 21st July I am arrested. Okay, until everything is proved, it has become 1st August. 1st August. Okay, 1st August, this law has been changed. This law has been changed. So as per this law, okay, as per this new law is what? 2025 law. 5 years is the punishment. Okay, 5 years is the punishment. I should not be given this 5 years punishment. Why? Because at the day I was arrested for the crime, that law was there. Which law? 2015 law. As per that law only I should be punished, not as per the new law. Okay, not as per the new law. Understood? 21st July I am arrested. As at that time road safety law was 2015 law. As per that 3 years is the punishment for me. But until conviction everything happens, it becomes 1st August. On 1st August itself a new law has come. As per that 2015 law is little modified. For that same crime, instead of 3 years they have given 5 years. I should not be given 5 years. That is because I was arrested on 21st July. At that time what was the 3 years. That is the meaning of no ex post. Post means after arrest, post facto legislation. That is I should not be applied the future law. I should be applied the current law. Okay, that is the meaning of this. No double jeopardy. This is not just double jeopardy. No double jeopardy. No double jeopardy means for one crime I should be applied only one law, only one punishment. I should not be given double punishment. Okay, suppose for road safety if I violated, I should be punished under that law. I should not be punished under some other law. That means for a single crime, single punishment. For a single crime, no double punishments. Okay, for a single crime, single punishment. Suppose she has stolen chips from Ratnadeep. Give her punishment only for that. That is the crime she has done. That is the punishment you have to give. Okay, for that you should not say that she has put fire on the Ratnadeep also. You cannot give her life sentence. You cannot give her life sentence, something like that. Okay, so I will tell you more about what is life sentence, what is death penalty. All these things I will tell you when I talk about president, because president has something called mercy petition. Even after the Supreme Court, if you go to president, he can still pardon the people. For example, the people who killed or assassinated Rajiv Gandhi, Shantan Murugan, Paralavaran, another one is Nalini. These people, okay, after the Supreme Court gave them death penalty, they went to the president. After that what happened, I will tell you when I talk about president. Okay, so for single crime, single punishment. No double punishment. That is the meaning of jeopardy. No double jeopardy. No self-incrimination. No self-incrimination means in my own court, in my own case, I cannot be my witness. Okay, in my own case, I cannot be my own witness. I cannot go and say, I only did it. I cannot say. Even if I say, there should be evidence to prove that. Just by my saying, it should not be like that. There should be proper material evidence. Okay, there should be proper material evidence. Okay, suppose she has stolen from there, but there is no CCTV footage or whatever it is. Okay, outside also there is no CCTV footage, there also there is no CCTV footage, and there is no fingerprints also. That time they cannot punish her. That is, but that time if she goes to court and says, okay, I only took and did it, that she never say whatever, but if she goes and says, yes, I only took it, I only stole it, I only ate it, if she says also, they cannot consider that. There should be proper evidence. Okay, even if she says, I did not do it, that time also the court cannot believe. There should be proper evidence. That is the meaning of no self-incrimination. That is the meaning of what? No self-incrimination. Clear? So this is the meaning of it. So Article 19 is talking about production of 6 fundamental freedoms, that is speech and expression, assemble, association, movement, residence and occupation. And 20 is talking about conviction, production of conviction. Production, when there is conviction happening, we need some protection. Those protections are what? No ex post facto legislation, no future law should be applied to me, no double jeopardy, for single crime single punishment, and I cannot be witness in my own case. Okay, this is the meaning of Article 20. I will wind up now. So we did from introduction to fundamental rights, we learnt up till Article 20. So remaining few articles, that is Article 21 to 35 is there. We will do that in the upcoming class. We may need 2 more classes, okay, because Article 32 we have to discuss in detail, because Article 32 I told you, when they are only saying it is heart and soul of the constitution, in Article 32 there are certain various things, 5 important things that are there that we have to learn. Okay, that will take some time. So 2 more classes will be required for fundamental rights. All right, I will wind up now. Thank you. Okay, please keep revising. I will share the notes today itself. Fine. I will wind up now. Let's meet in the next class. Thank you.